The crimson ultimatum, the morning sky above New Geneva, turned blood red as the alien ships blotted out the sun. Commander Elena Vasquez stood on the observation deck of the United Earth Command Center, watching as massive vessels materialized. Through dimensional rifts, each ship stretched longer than entire city blocks, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light itself. Elena had spent 30 years preparing for first contact, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this. "Ma'am, we're reading over 4,000 vessels in formation around the planet," reported Lieutenant Torres from the communications station. His voice cracked slightly as he delivered the numbers. "They're maintaining a perfect sphere formation at exactly 200,000 kilometers altitude." Elena gripped the railing until her knuckles turned white. She had dreamed of this moment since childhood, imagining peaceful exchanges of knowledge and culture with beings from distant stars. Instead, she was looking at what appeared to be the largest invasion force in human history. The ships made no aggressive moves, but their very presence was a threat that could not be ignored. Dr. Marcus Chen burst through the command center doors, his lab coat still stained with coffee from his hurried breakfast. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, Marcus had studied theoretical alien life forms for decades. Now he found himself face to face with the real thing, and the implications terrified him more than excited him. "Elena, you need to see this," Marcus said, rushing to her side with a data tablet clutched in his hands. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from their ships. These aren't just advanced civilizations we're dealing with. The spectral analysis shows at least 5 completely different technological signatures. This is an alliance of alien species, and they've all come here together." Captain Sarah Mitchell arrived moments later, still wearing her flight suit from the emergency scramble. As commander of Earth's orbital defense fleet, Sarah had launched every available ship the moment the alien vessels appeared. Her small force of 300 human spacecraft looked pathetically insignificant compared to the alien armada. But she refused to leave Earth defenseless. "All civilian traffic has been grounded," Sarah reported. "Our defense grid is online, but frankly, it's like bringing water pistols to fight a volcano. Whatever they want, we're not in a position to negotiate from strength." The 3 humans stood together, representing humanity's best hope for survival. Elena, with her strategic mind and diplomatic training, Marcus with his scientific knowledge, and Sarah with her military expertise. They had worked together for years, preparing for various crisis scenarios, but none of their simulations had included anything approaching this scale of contact. Suddenly, every screen in the command center flickered and changed. The normal displays showing Earth's defense systems vanished, replaced by a single image that appeared simultaneously on every electronic device across the planet. Televisions in homes, computer monitors in offices, even smartphones and digital billboards all showed the same sight. The creature that appeared was unlike anything from human science fiction. Overlord Zixt of the Hegemony Alliance stood nearly 10 feet tall, with crystalline skin that refracted light into prismatic patterns. 4 arms extended from its torso, each ending in hands with too many fingers. Most unsettling were its eyes, compound like an insect's, but large as dinner plates, reflecting intelligence that seemed both ancient and utterly alien. "People of Earth," the creature spoke, and somehow every human heard the words in their native language. "I am Overlord Zixt, Supreme Commander of the Hegemony Alliance. We represent the combined authority of 5 advanced civilizations that have maintained galactic peace for over 15,000 years. Alina felt her stomach drop as the creature continued. This was not the peaceful first contact she had hoped. 4. The alien's tone carried the weight of absolute authority, the voice of a being accustomed to immediate obedience. Your species has been observed for the past 2 centuries, Zixth continued. During this time, you have demonstrated alarming patterns of aggression, territorial expansion, and resource exploitation. Your recent colonization of 17 star systems represents a clear threat to established galactic order. Marcus stepped closer to Alina, whispering urgently, 17 systems. We've only established colonies in 12 systems. How are they counting our exploration missions as colonization? The answer became clear as Zixith explained the hegemony's position. To the alien alliance, any human presence beyond Earth represented expansion that needed to be contained. Scientific research stations, mining operations, even unmanned probe missions were all considered acts of territorial aggression. The Hegemony Alliance has therefore reached a unanimous decision, the Overlord announced. The human species will evacuate planet Earth within 2 standard galactic years. All humans must relocate to the void sectors beyond the galactic rim. These regions have been designated as suitable for containing species that pose risks to galactic stability. Sarah grabbed Elena's arm, her pilot's instincts recognizing the trap immediately. The void sectors, she whispered. Those are the dead zones where nothing grows. No habitable planets, no resources, barely any stars. They're not relocating us, they're sentencing us to die slowly. Elena's diplomatic training kicked in despite the shock. She activated the global communication system, broadcasting her response to every human settlement in the solar system and beyond. Overlord Zixth, she said, forcing her voice to remain steady. Humanity appreciates contact with the hegemony. Alliance, however, Earth is our ancestral home. We have lived here for hundreds of thousands of years. Surely we can reach some form of accommodation that allows for peaceful coexistence. The alien's compound eyes shifted, creating a kaleidoscope. Effect that was both beautiful and terrifying. Your species' emotional attachment to this world is noted but irrelevant. The decision has been made through proper galactic channels. You have 2 years to complete evacuation. Any humans remaining on Earth after this deadline will be eliminated as a threat to galactic peace. Dr. Chen stepped forward, his scientific mind racing through possibilities. What about our colonies, our research stations? Surely humans living peacefully in other systems don't pose a threat. All human presence beyond Earth will be terminated immediately, Zixth replied without emotion. Transport vessels are already being dispatched to ensure compliance. Your colonies will be evacuated simultaneously with Earth. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving billions of humans in stunned silence. Alina looked around the command center at faces filled with disbelief, anger, and fear. Everything humanity had built, everything they had achieved, was being taken away by beings who saw them as nothing more than a pest problem to be solved. Over the following days, the reality of their situation became clear. The alien ships maintained their positions, occasionally demonstrating their power by vaporizing asteroids or derelict satellites. The message was unmistakable. Resistance would result in immediate destruction. Dr. Chen worked frantically to understand the alien technology, hoping to find some weakness or advantage. What he discovered was even more disturbing than the ultimatum itself. The hegemony's historical records, intercepted through their communication networks, revealed a pattern of genocide disguised as relocation. Alina, You need to see this, Marcus said during an emergency briefing 3 weeks after first contact. I've managed to decode fragments of their historical databases. The hegemony has done this before, at least 8 times in the past 10,000 years. Species that get relocated to the void sectors simply disappear. There are no follow-up records, no trade agreements, nothing. They're not just moving us, they're murdering us. Captain Mitchell had been working with governments worldwide to coordinate the evacuation, but the logistics were staggering. Earth's population exceeded 12 billion people, and humanity's entire spacefaring capacity could transport maybe 3 billion at most. Even if they built ships continuously for 2 years, millions would be left behind. We need to buy time, Sarah said during one of their countless planning sessions. Every day we delay means more ships we can build, more people we can save. Alina made the hardest decision of her career. She would cooperate with the evacuation while secretly preparing for the long-term survival of the human species. Hidden shipyards began construction beyond the alien surveillance network. Critical technology and cultural artifacts were secretly prepared for transport. Most importantly, she established communication networks that would keep the scattered human populations connected across the vast distances of the void sectors. The next 18 months became a period of unprecedented cooperation among humans. National boundaries meant nothing when facing extinction. Scientists from every nation worked together to design ships capable of long-term survival in the harsh void sectors. Engineers created closed-loop life support systems that could maintain human populations for decades. Military strategists developed contingency plans for potential resistance. As the deadline approached, Alina stood once again on the observation deck of the command center. The building was nearly empty now. Most of the staff already departed on evacuation ships. Earth's cities were becoming ghost towns as transport. After transport lifted off for the uncertain journey to the galactic rim. "Ma'am," came a voice behind her. Lieutenant Torres had volunteered to stay with the final evacuation wave, maintaining communications until the very end. The last civilian transport is ready for departure. Only essential personnel remain. Nodded, taking one final look at the world that had been humanity's home since the dawn of their species. The alien ships still hung in the sky like metal storm clouds, patient and implacable. Soon they would claim this world, adding it to their collection of conquered territories. But Alina Vasquez had learned something about humans during these months of crisis. They adapted, they survived, they remembered the Hegemony Alliance thought. They were eliminating a threat, but they were actually creating one. Humanity would survive in the void sectors, and someday they would return. Captain Mitchell's ship was among the last to depart, carrying Alina and the final remnants of Earth's government. As they accelerated away from their home world, Alina activated one final transmission to every human ship in the Exodus fleet. "My fellow humans," she broadcast across the scattered flotilla, "today we leave our home, but we do not leave as defeated refugees. We leave as a species that has been forged by adversity and strengthened by unity. The Hegemony Alliance believes they have seen the last of humanity. Let them believe that. Let them grow comfortable in their victory, because humans have won, quality that they have not yet learned to fear. We never forget, and we never forgive." The blue marble that had been earthed disappeared behind them, but Elena's words echoed through every human ship heading into the darkness between the stars. The exile had begun, but so had humanity's transformation from a peaceful species into something the galaxy had never seen before. In the void sectors, humanity would learn to survive in conditions that would kill most other species. They would adapt their technology, strengthen their resolve, and prepare for the day when they would return to claim what was theirs. The Hegemony Alliance had made the greatest mistake in galactic history. They had given humanity a common enemy and a reason to unite. The stars ahead held only darkness and hardship, but they also held hope. Somewhere in that vast emptiness, humanity would find its true strength. Asterisk forged in the voided years had passed since the Great Exile began, and Admiral James Reaper had never seen a sunrise. Born aboard the colony ship New Horizon during the long journey to the void sectors, James knew Earth only through stories told by the elders and holographic records preserved in the archives. His grandmother Alina Vasquez had died when he was 12, but not before instilling in him an unshakable belief that humanity would someday return home. Standing on the bridge of the dreadnought Retribution, James gazed out at the impossible sight before him. New Terra stretched across the viewscreen, a planet that should not exist. When the first human settlers had arrived in the void sectors, they found nothing but barren rocks and dying stars. Through 8 decades of struggle, ingenuity, and sheer stubborn determination, humanity had transformed this wasteland into something magnificent. "Admiral, the morning briefing is ready," announced Commander Lisa Park, his second in command. At 45, Lisa was among the youngest senior officers in the fleet. Having earned her rank through brilliant tactical innovations during the resource wars against the native void dwellers, James nodded, taking one final look at New surface. The planet's continents were dotted with gleaming cities that rose from carefully terraformed landscapes. Atmospheric processors worked continuously to maintain breathable air, while orbital mirrors provided the light that the dying local sun could no longer give. It was a testament to human engineering that this dead world now supported over 2 billion people. Dr. Ava Sterling was waiting in the briefing room, her fingers dancing across a holographic display showing technical specifications that would have been considered impossible when humans first arrived in the void. As chief engineer of the Terran Resistance Fleet, Ava had overseen the development of technologies that surpassed anything the Hegemony Alliance possessed. "James, you need to see the latest test results from the Phoenix Drive project," Ava said, barely containing her excitement. "We've achieved stable dimensional folding at ranges exceeding 15,000 light-years. We can now travel from the void sectors to Earth in less than 2 weeks." General Rex Thornton looked up from his tactical displays, his weathered face creased into what might have been a smile. Rex was one of the few remaining humans who remembered Earth, having been a young soldier during the evacuation. He had spent 80 years planning for this moment, and his strategic mind had helped transform scattered refugees into the most formidable military force the galaxy had ever seen. "The fleet is ready," Rex reported. 1,200 capital ships, each carrying technology the Hegemony can't even imagine. Our soldiers have been trained in combat conditions that would kill most alien species. We've been forged in the fire of the void, and now we're stronger than anything in known space. James studied the assembled data, feeling the weight of destiny settling on his shoulders. The Terran Resistance Fleet represented the culmination of human adaptation and innovation. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of technology had been designed by people who had never known a moment of peace or comfort. They had built a civilization from nothing, and now they were ready to use that strength to reclaim their birthright. "Tell me about the Forerunner discovery," James said, turning to Dr. Sterling. "How certain are we about their connection to The hegemony, Ava's expression darkened as she called up new holographic displays. 3 months earlier, human deep space archaeologists had discovered ruins on a dead world at the edge of the void sectors. The structures were millions of years old, built by a species that called themselves the Forerunners. More importantly, the ruins contained detailed records of galactic history that the Hegemony Alliance had tried to erase. The evidence is overwhelming, Ava explained. The Forerunners were the original rulers of this galaxy, a benevolent species that helped younger civilizations develop and thrive. They were peaceful explorers and teachers, exactly what the hegemony claims to be. But 15 million years ago, an alliance of younger species turned against them. The holographic display showed star maps marking the locations of battles that had raged across the galaxy eons ago. The Forerunners had been systematically hunted down and exterminated by the ancestors of the current Hegemony Alliance. Worse yet, the aliens had then rewritten galactic history to portray themselves as the righteous peacekeepers. The hegemony has been committing genocide for millions of years, Rex added grimly. Every species they've relocated, every civilization they've claimed to pacify, has simply been murdered. They've maintained galactic peace by ensuring that no one is left alive to challenge them. James felt a cold fury building in his chest. The aliens hadn't just stolen humanity's home, they had revealed themselves as the greatest monsters in galactic history. The Forerunner records showed dozens of species that had been wiped out over the millennia, their only crime being the potential to grow beyond the hegemony's control. There's more, Ava continued, activating another display. The Forerunner ruins contained something else. Technology specifically designed to be used by species with human-like neural patterns. It's as if they knew that someday someone like us would find their legacy. The Forerunner technology was beyond anything humans had previously imagined. Their ships could manipulate space-time itself, traveling vast distances instantly. Their weapons could destabilize stars or precisely target individual molecules. Most remarkably, their manufacturing systems could transform raw matter into any desired configuration at the atomic level. We've integrated their technology with our own innovations, Ava explained. The result is a hybrid system that surpasses both human engineering and Forerunner science. Our ships are now capable of feats that would seem like magic to the hegemony. James walked to the viewing port, looking out at the assembled fleet that represented humanity's return to galactic prominence. The ships were sleek and deadly, incorporating both human ingenuity and Forerunner elegance. Each vessel was crewed by humans who had never known defeat, who had been raised on stories of their stolen homeland and trained for the day when they would take it back. What's the status of our intelligence operations? James asked. Commander Park consulted her datapad. Our infiltration teams have been active throughout hegemony space for the past 5 years. The aliens have become complacent during our exile. They've reduced their military forces by 60%, convinced that no threats remain in the galaxy. Earth itself is lightly defended, with only a token garrison maintaining order. The irony was not lost on James. The hegemony had spent so much effort ensuring that no species could challenge them that they had forgotten how to defend against actual threats. They had become bureaucrats. Most importantly, Lisa continued, our agents have confirmed that the human population wasn't entirely eliminated. Several million humans were kept as a servant class on Earth, maintaining the planet's infrastructure for the alien colonists. They've been waiting for us, Admiral. They've kept the flame of resistance alive for 80 years. James closed his eyes, imagining the humans who had been left behind during the evacuation. They had endured slavery and oppression for 8 decades, maintaining hope that their brothers and sisters would someday return, that faith would soon be rewarded. "Gentlemen, ladies," James said, turning back to his senior staff. "Today we begin the operation that will end the Hegemony Alliance forever. We're not just going home. We're going to liberate every species in the galaxy from the greatest tyranny in cosmic history." Dr. Sterling activated a galaxy-wide communication array, sending a coded message to human cells throughout hegemony space. Sleeper agents who had lived ordinary lives for decades suddenly received activation orders. Scientists working in alien laboratories began sabotaging critical systems. Soldiers serving in hegemony military units prepared to turn their weapons on their commanders. General Thornton pulled up tactical displays showing the planned assault routes. "We'll hit their core worlds simultaneously, using our dimensional drive capability to appear without warning. The hegemony won't have time to coordinate a defense or call for reinforcements. By the time they understand what's happening, it will already be over." The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Humanity would not announce their return or demand negotiations. They would simply appear in overwhelming force and reclaim what had been stolen from them. The Hegemony Alliance had ruled through fear for millions of years. Now they would learn what true fear felt like. "Remember," James addressed his fleet commanders through a secure communication channel, "we're not seeking conquest. We're delivering justice. Every species that has suffered under hegemony rule will be liberated. Every world that has been stripped of resources will be restored. We're not becoming the oppressors. We're ending oppression." As the great fleet prepared for departure, James thought about his grandmother, Alina, and all the humans who had died in exile, never seeing their homeland again. They had sacrificed everything to ensure that humanity would survive and eventually grow strong enough to return. Their sacrifice would not be in vain. The dimensional drives powered up with a harmonic resonance that seemed to sing of homecoming. Space itself began to fold around the human fleet as they prepared to traverse the vast distance between the void sectors and the galactic core. After 80 years of preparation, humanity was ready to remind the galaxy what it meant to underestimate the species from Earth. "All ships report ready for dimensional transit," Commander Park announced. James took his position in the command chair, feeling the weight of human history settling around him. Behind them lay the void sectors where humanity had been transformed from peaceful explorers into the galaxy's most formidable warriors. Ahead lay Earth, their stolen home, and the final confrontation with the species that had thought they could erase humanity from existence. "Activate dimensional drives," James commanded. "It's time to go home." The stars stretched and twisted as space-time folded around the human fleet. When the distortion cleared, they would be in Earth's solar system, arriving like an avenging angel to deliver judgment upon those who had wronged them. The Hegemony Alliance had made their greatest mistake 80 years ago when they gave humanity a reason to unite and a goal to achieve. Now they would learn that some species, when pushed to the edge of extinction, don't simply die quietly. Sometimes they come back stronger, angrier, and utterly without mercy for those who destroyed their innocence. The galaxy was about to discover what humans were truly capable of when they had nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. Asterisk.